So, what'd you make of Easton's game?
Yeah, I think like any preseason game, there's some ups and there's some downs. Obviously, we weren't as efficient on offense as we wanted to be. I thought Easton's legs came alive. He had some really good situational stuff with the 2 minute before the half. At the end of the game, we were able to get the one before the last one. But obviously, for all of us, it wasn't a performance that was ideal for us, and really it came down to just being consistent and efficient and just playing a clean game.
What did you see as the biggest difference from that Rams game to the Saints game for Easton?
Yeah, I think it's just all part of the process. I think just seeing different coverages. I think that's always value to this is each week presents different challenges and being able to get to those. And I thought he had some good moments. For all of us, we just weren't as consistent.
Where do you sense the backup running back spot is now between Spiller and Kelly?
Yeah, just continue to give those guys opportunities. I think both of them have different roles that we'll certainly want to utilize, and so Dotson's popped in there and had some opportunities as well, and so we're just continuing to give those guys as much opportunity and exposure as we can, and certainly find those different roles.
In terms of those two guys, how that battle would sort of shake out, are you okay with it sort of dragging into the season, or do you sort of look at it as a three-man rotation depending on what you're trying to do, in the running game?
Yeah, I think ultimately you'll utilize all those guys. I think anyone that's on an active roster in the running back room, you're going to want to utilize all those different guys. I think Austin's obviously going to carry a lot of it, but at different parts we'll want to utilize those guys just to alleviate Austin from some of the workload, and we'll just kind of see how it all plays out. But that'll be through the season, I think, by game plan.
How would you evaluate Stone's Martin, the way he's kind of progressed during camp?
Yeah, Stone's had an awesome progression. I think just coming in and seeing where he was at and continuing to work and where OTAs were in training camp, and certainly for a guy going into a position where he hasn't played a ton of tight end, over his lifetime, he gets better each and every day. And I thought the New Orleans game was an awesome game for him just to kind of see. He had a couple, really the contested catch down the middle where he took a hit as he was catching. I think it was phenomenal, and so really excited with where he's going.
How would you evaluate where your tight ends are when it comes to blocking?
Yeah, I think it's a continued process for those guys. I think we're continuing to emphasize different schemes, different roles. I think it was good to see two different schemes the first 2 weeks, where what LA presented, the Rams, and what the Saints presented was going to be a little bit different. So for those guys, it's different looks, different challenges, and so those guys being able to learn from all those experiences.
What were your biggest takeaways from the joint practices?
Yeah, really, really good. Love joint practices. I think they're really, really efficient. You get a ton of really good work in. I thought New Orleans was phenomenal. Great to work with, and I thought ultimately we got a lot of productive work in there, and so it was really, really good.
Brandon mentioned after that first practice that he felt like you guys were pretty close to sort of establishing that identity in the running game that you've talked about all offseason. Where do you feel like you guys are at in that process?
Yeah, I think certainly it's heading where it needs to be for the regular season, and so you certainly have certain concepts you really feel really comfortable with. Those are going to be our kind of bread and butter concepts, and then by game plans you're going to present different things. And I think that's part of the training camp process. You want to expose them to just the different tools that you'll utilize through the season, that hey, if they give us this technique, we're going to get you this. If they give us this, that we'll get to that, and so on and so forth. And so now as we start heading into the regular season, we start tightening it up, narrowing our focus, and then we can grab from the different training camp concepts as the season goes.
With Isaiah, we didn't get a chance to see him much last year. Just in evaluating him and film and everything, and then what you've seen in training camp here. What about him do you like? What maybe can he do, or what does he maybe bring that the other guys don't?
Yeah, I think Isaiah certainly had a little bit last year during the regular season, but not a ton. And so I think for him, as much exposure as possible is huge. And so we've tried to get him a lot of reps in training camp, a lot of reps in these preseason games. And, he has a really good patience-ness about him, and then he's just got to keep building that like suddenness, that as soon as he sees it, hits it, because he's got some really talented physical tools that he can utilize, and so he's going to continue to improve. I think you see it each and every week where he gets a little bit better, and so we just got to stay on that path.
With the ones, they haven't played yet and they're unlikely to play. What's just the focus with that group, Justin and all those guys kind of being in this lull here before the regular season?
Yeah, I think just a combination of scheme and then preparing yourself for the regular season as we kind of start shifting gears here. Obviously, coming back to the facility full time now, it starts feeling a little bit more like you're heading towards the regular season, and so I think we're finalizing some of the conceptual stuff just to make sure we're all ready to roll, and then all eyes are on the regular season.
With Quentin Johnston, I think we've seen a fair amount of drops from him through camp. Just how concerning is that for a player? And like with a player like him, how do you sort of balance the fact that maybe he doesn't have the most reliable hands, but that explosive element that you guys want, we've obviously seen through training camp?
Yeah, I mean, for any guy, it's a process, and so he's made some tremendous catches today. He made some tremendous contested catches, and so continue to build off of those. And there'll be mistakes, just like any player. He'll continue to work on it, but we feel really fortunate to have him here, and he'll definitely have a role for us as the season starts.
With his talked about the inconsistency of the offense that we saw just in this moment as part of the process. How do you approach those conversations in terms of like tightening it up to come regular season to be able to be consistent?
Yeah, I think it's just a big emphasis for us. It's just at this point now a lot of it's in, and now we got to tighten it up and be cleaner and play a more efficient game. And so that's the big emphasis right now.
With his physical tools, can Spiller be that 3-down back? Because that was kind of his rep coming out of college.
Yes, certainly we feel like our backs have the ability to do the protection. I think that, they've done a nice job in the protection aspect of it, which is a huge aspect. And then the pass game, I think all of them are capable of giving us something there. And so we definitely feel good with it there.